I've heard, is Pakistan a little more like less chaotic than India?
The chaos is still there, but people are sweet. I think it's like that Muslim influence. They're not so like money hungry. They're just kind of like, hey, yalla habibi, like welcome to my fucking whatever.
Okay.
Here's a chicken shawarma. Whereas in India, it's like everybody wants cash. A kid in Varanasi popped me in the balls because I didn't like tip him.
What a move. Oh, come along, we're ready to roam. With Donnie and Chaps, you'll feel right at home. From the hills to the seas, to the strange and bizarre, drop a pin takes you places both near and far.
Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Drop a Pin. Today we have on Small-Brained American. He is a travel YouTuber. I don't even know your first name.
Connor.
Okay, yeah. Boom. I got it now.
There you go.
When I started this podcast, I thought we'd be like having on a lot of travel YouTubers. Those would be our main guests. I think you're like the first,
hell yeah,
full-fledged travel YouTuber that we've had on. He's got 641K subscribers. I didn't want to count you out because I don't know if you saw that clip of Kanye West where they were like, he has 32 million followers, and he was like, why are you trying to shave inches off my dick, bro? I got 33 million. and then he stormed out. And
my God.
Just because they got the amount of subs wrong. But
no, I don't care.
Yeah, and so this is our first time actually meeting in person. We have DM'd a little bit over the years. I think it was in 2023 when you first reached out. You asked me, you're like, hey, I love your vids. Would you be down to go to Afghanistan this summer or fall?
I was so thirsty, bro. I was like, please, someone notice me, please.
For sure. Yeah, so like, how long have you been doing travel YouTube vids? And like, obviously now your page has been taken off, but like, how long did it take to actually gain some traction?
I've been doing it for like 4 years. It took like 3 to get anybody to watch like at all, like to make more than like $100 a month. So it took a long fucking time. For sure.
Yeah. Were there like, after a couple of years of that, were you getting discouraged? Were you like,
I was discouraged after like the first 3 weeks, bro. I was like, fuck, why aren't I viral yet? And then I think after a while I just kind of like settled into the fact that I was kind of an underdog and was just doing it for the love of the game after a while. And then when it finally blew up, I felt like I was like prepared for all the success and everything. So
yeah, no, I mean, before I worked at Barstool, I'd been putting out YouTube vids for like a good 4 or 5 years, not always on a regular basis.
Yeah, I remember that OG channel,
and I did
Donnie
have like,
Does.
yes, the OG Donnie Does channel. And I had some vids that did well, but I had a bunch of other vids that would just have like a couple thousand views. And I think after 4 years of constantly working on it, I'd gotten like 16K subs. So definitely not enough to be making a living off of it. And thankfully was then hired by Barstool Sports, and kind of with the exposure I gained through that, like I already kind of knew how to do everything. So once I got the job here, I was able to hit the ground running and just start pumping out nonstop content.
It's like a dream.
Yeah.
I tell people that you're like one of the most underrated travel YouTubers. Like the deep cut shit, like you at the wife market or the husband market in China. Like,
yes.
Dude, you were, I feel like, ahead of your time in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. And now, obviously there's a zillion travel YouTubers now. And I think that's why it's kind of hard to, get traction and views, just because so much content goes up on YouTube every single day.
It's like billions of videos a day.
Yeah. It's like, how do you stand out? I mean, what was your first break on YouTube?
It was the India Sucks video.
Okay. So yes, I don't know if you saw that. I think I've brought it up on the pod. So was that like the first time I saw it was just in TikTok form, and it was just like you walking around some city in India, and the caption was just like, India sucks, don't ever come here.
Oh yeah, when I was on, I had been reading Shantaram, like that takes place in India, and I was going through all kinds of I was obsessed with it.
Really?
And then I saw yours, and I was like, this guy sucks. India's awesome.
Just from
so you thought it was a great place.
I've never been. I just love the. I'm sure it does suck. Like I've seen the videos of like all the trash and shit like that. But the book was like takes place in the jungle and like
it talks about like how spiritually.
So it's fictional.
It's very fictional.
go.
Yeah, I
there you
like the idea of India.
Yeah. No, I think that's why I went. Like, even after I saw your vids and I was like, hey man, I'm planning a trip to India, you were still like, hey, I don't recommend going there. And I was like, no, it's a place I would love to see with my own eyes. I mean, it's a large part of the world. It's one of the most populated countries on earth.
The number one.
Okay, it's the most
Yeah,
populated.
they just passed China, I think.
Yeah.
1.6 billion.
Yeah, so it was a spot I wanted to see with my firsthand. Right after I got back is when I had my kids, so I still haven't released my vlogs from the country. I'll be dropping them in the next few weeks.
Oh, so you did live streams separately from the vlogs?
Yeah, I did like a few live streams there, but I also filmed like 4 or 5 vlogs.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I mean, the content's easy to film there. I will say it's like heaven on earth for a YouTuber, but just
yeah,
your
just,
everyday experience is fucking terrible. It stinks everywhere.
yeah, and it was more just like one of the things I love to do when I travel is just like eat food, try new foods, and I was a little too just nervous to kind of eat
Yeah.
90% of the food that I saw there.
Yeah, dude. I got a stomach parasite for like 3 months from the subcontinent. It was technically in Pakistan, but could have been either one. You know what I mean?
I've heard, is Pakistan a little more like less chaotic than India?
The chaos is still there, but people are sweet. I think it's like that Muslim influence. They're not so like money hungry. They're just kind of like, hey, yalla habibi, like welcome to my fucking whatever.
Okay.
Here's a chicken shawarma. Like I couldn't spend money in Pakistan. I was there a week. I tried to spend $5 and then the guy just gave it right back to me.
Okay.
But I no money, literally no money. I got a ride from the border to my friend's place. He didn't let me spend a dime the entire time. So,
Okay.
yeah, but whereas in India, it's like everybody wants your fucking cash. A kid in Varanasi popped me in the balls because I didn't like tip him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay. Damn. Yeah.
What a move.
yeah, bro. Yeah.
I
I'm
know.
glad they don't do that at restaurants here. I mean, I tip, but that would. Actually, I wish they did because that would be hilarious. Shane.
A nice little pop in the balls.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't.
bro.
You
Yeah.
only did 12% pop.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was tipping in India or not. I mean, things are very cheap there. So it's
Or when I say tip, it was just a street begger. It was just a kid like money, money, money. And I was like, fuck off. And then he like popped me in the balls and ran off.
damn. Yeah, I one of the most expensive purchases I've made on my travels is I paid a dude $360 just to play 3 holes of slum golf.
In India?
Yeah, in India, I saw a YouTube video of a guy who was playing slum golf. This is from maybe 5-6 years ago.
What is slum golf?
It's pretty much just golf you play in the slums, and you use little like pieces of crowbars or like what are those like wire pipes or
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, you use these like metal bars as clubs, and then you use just like little potholes in the pavement.
How do you
as
find this
holes.
shit, man? Like,
That was just a YouTube video, and then I kept on looking up, and I somehow got like the YouTuber was an American dude who just films these crazy golf vids around the world, but I was somehow able to find the contact of the Indian dude that he was
that's fucking funny.
golfing
That's
with.
elbow grease right there, bro.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
you're
like
finding that content.
yeah,
Got to be the first rebar golf on YouTube.
yeah, I think so. It was, but I expected to be playing at least a full 9 holes, and we went.
Yeah,
We played for like
the par 3 course.
45 minutes, and he was like, all right, we're done. You can pay me now. And I was like, damn, I think I just got a little fleeced.
Did you guys agree on a price before, or was it?
Yeah, we did. He kind of like, I even had an Indian friend talk to him because like when I was speaking to him, he spoke like so insanely fast. He was hard to understand. So
In English?
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Indians. They know English like fluently, but their accent is so thick.
Yeah.
And they use all these different vocabulary and stuff. It's like really hard to understand.
Very hard to understand. But no, I think the vlog should do good.
No, that's a hilarious idea.
Yeah, he got pissed. I mentioned on another podcast, I was like, yeah, I think I got fleeced out of $360. And he somehow ended up watching that podcast. And I got like 6 text messages like,
no.
that's a fair price. Like,
How is that fair?
I mean, that's the same price. You could almost go to Pebble Beach for that and play.
Yeah, but
you
he
could
would
go play Pinehurst number 2 for that price.
Yeah, but he was like, people always come to my slum and play golf, and like, what do I get out of it? But it's like, I was happy to pay him something, but he's just, I think he thinks I'm going to make like a ton of money off this vid. And who knows, maybe it will be, the vid will go super viral, and then
Good.
it's like, all right, damn, maybe it was a fair price.
So you hated India.
That was terrible.
What's number 2?
As far as my hate list? I mean, I don't feel very strongly about anywhere else like that. I mean, I went to Dominica in the Caribbean. It's pretty fucking boring.
Yeah.
But I kind of went into it with the wrong mindset. I was trying to have an adventure, and it's the Caribbean. Like, there's not really much exciting happening there. I don't really know, man. I mean, I had a run-in with the police in Vietnam. I love Vietnam personally, but they wanted a bribe, and then I posted it on YouTube, and then I like ended up on this government page, and they like kind of doxed me, and I got all these death threats. But I still love Vietnam. I think it's just like Vietnam internet that I don't enjoy, if that makes sense. But no, I don't really have like a second. I really love every place I go. Yeah.
You recently went to China. Was that your first time in China?
No, I went. That's my third time. First time I went to the North Korean border and Ordos, this abandoned city, and then went west to east with my buddy Tommy Sabbatical on YouTube, and then we went all the way across the country. Started in Xinjiang, and then went back to the North Korean border. Went deeper to this town where they're like housing North Korean defectors. Like when they defect, they like put them in this prison in Tumen, China.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go see, and then we got detained there.
That's the same place that the guy that we interviewed on North Korea went.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. We had one guy on this pod who was from North Korea who was able to escape twice from the North Korea-China border. At one point, we're just because I guess the river there is not super deep in like in spots. So
yeah, no, it was like a little pebble, like fucking brook.
Okay,
like we went in the summer. Yeah, it was like late summer, like August, and the brook was just like a little fucking dude. You could walk across, like, and not even get your feet wet, type thing.
Wow.
And then when it freezes in the winter, you can just walk straight across the whole thing. So
that's a part of China I've never been to. I'd love to hear more about it. I have a friend who went. I have heard, like, if you're a foreign American tourist that is going there, sometimes they'll almost like assign someone in the Chinese military to like follow you around just to make sure that like you don't get in trouble. Like it might be for your own safety. They're like, we don't want you to get kidnapped by like
that's what they want you to think.
North Korea. But I think it's just to keep tabs on what you're doing. So did you feel like the moment you showed up in that town, you were being watched?
Oh, 100%. I mean, literally in the video, it's probably a span of 5 minutes. We arrive at the train station and get to the hotel, and they didn't even have a check-in procedure for foreigners because they had never seen my passport before. They had never seen an American passport. They like assigned me a Chinese name because they're like, what are these symbols where your name should be? And I was like, it's Connor. And they're like, okay, make up a Chinese name. And I just scribbled something. I knew like a little bit of the Japanese alphabet, so I just put like big.
Oh, that's actually the only Chinese character I would know how to write too.
Exactly.
Big. Da. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just gave him that, and then the cop showed up literally 5 minutes later. I checked the timestamps in my camera, and it was 5 minutes after we got to the hotel, and they're like, "Hey, passport, what's up?" And the guy spoke English, which was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
For that part of China, I was like, "Why are you?" But he was a sweet guy. I mean, he was just doing his job, so that's fine. But yeah, and then they questioned us. That wasn't the scary part. It was kind of scary how fast they were like on high alert, like Americans.
Yeah.
And they were just right there. But it was the next day. We were like at the border. But to be fair, the cop told us not to film. He's like, hey, just don't film. Don't go to the border.
Okay.
But it's a huge like tourist attraction. Like you probably know in China, like you could pick like the most off-grid, deep cut fucking place. And there's gonna be like fucking like a tour guide with a loudspeaker and like it felt like that. It felt like really dinky and cheesy, and we're like, oh, this is fine, we'll just film. And then the cops fucking put us in the back of their van.
Okay, I've been put in the back of a Chinese police van before.
Really?
Yeah, and it was for the same reasons, for filming something I shouldn't have. We were like filming a prank, and then it turns out like where we were filming the prank was right in front of like a Chinese SWAT van. So they kind of thought, like, are these American spies? We were also dressed like spies. We were dressed like spies. And
what do you mean, like the old school?
We were wearing like black suits. We had earpieces. And
my God.
It was a really dumb prank where then we would like choose someone to follow around and like act like we're their Secret Service. So just like having like just random people on the street, all of a sudden treating them like a VIP and seeing their reaction. To all of a sudden they have like a personal security detail.
That does seem like a bad idea.
It was a horrible idea.
Filming it.
It was at one point in China, I was working for my friend's company, and they were like paying us to start this prank show that would hopefully gain some traction. And I did not enjoy doing it. I was like, because I knew something like that was going to happen.
And so your
Sure
trip
enough, it
across,
did.
did you see anything like completely unexpected? Like, how was the terrain? Because it's such a huge country.
Yeah. I would say the desert is huge in Western China because I started in Uzbekistan, just kind of like logistically with the flights. I started in Bhutan and like with all the the Russian sanctions, I couldn't get a flight to like post-Soviet states. So long story short, I flew to Uzbekistan, took a train to Kyrgyzstan, and then like once you pass a certain point in Kyrgyzstan, it's just a desert. And then that desert persists until like fucking far in China, like thousands and thousands of miles. So yeah, I mean the desert was huge. I will say like regionally China it's kind of roll the dice as far as like, are people going to be nice or are they not going to be nice? Because I felt like my first experience in China was in the north, like near the border and like Beijing and stuff. And everyone's so sweet and friendly there. And something about Western China, maybe they're just more suspicious of outsiders for, you know, obvious reasons, but they just didn't seem like as outgoing and friendly and stuff. So yeah, that was a bit surprising.
Yeah, so Western China is Xinjiang. That's the most Muslim part of China. And then you see headlines, or at least you used to see headlines all the time, like about what the Chinese government was doing to the Uyghur population out there.
Allegedly.
And so, yeah, allegedly. So that's why whenever like they would see foreign tourists out there, they'd be like, are these guys secretly journalists? Are they trying to like expose us for mistreating the Muslim population?
Yeah.
So I think that's why they weren't as friendly there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Uyghurs were nice. It was kind of just like, it just felt like the bureaucracy in China is so, because it's very counterintuitive, right? Because they're like, we want to make sure you're making China look good. But then by doing that, they're making China look bad. Like they're assigning you a fucking police escort. That's insane. Like it didn't make me feel good. It made me feel scared.
Okay, so when you were in Xinjiang, you needed.
No, we didn't need one,
escort?
but they would just follow us.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like a guy in like, maybe you could tell me. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know. You spent, 8 years in China, so.
Yeah, but I only went to Xinjiang once, and that was kind of before there was the whole dialogue around the Uyghurs. I've heard it's gotten a lot worse. And my friend who was there maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he was like, yeah, there was always someone sort of following me around.
It's just creepy. It's like something out of a movie. But the guy had like a black polo, tucked in, really neat looking, like undercut, smoking a cigarette. And I was like just buying a water in a shop, kind of like adjacent to the tourist infrastructure, like just a little outside of it. And he just comes in, just takes a photo of me and just walks away. And then just sits on his phone and just pretends like it never happened.
Yep.
And then, and he followed us out of there and it was terrifying.
But then once you got to the east part of the country, you weren't noticing that, like people. Yeah,
I mean, once we left Xinjiang, I think we were in Gansu. It was fine. And then once we got far enough east, it happened again at the North Korean border. But honestly, we were asking for trouble. I mean, we're fucking YouTubers. Yeah. It's not like, you know.
When they put you in the back of the van, what happened next?
I have no idea because Tommy spoke all the Mandarin. I was just sitting there like shitting my pants, like having a literal panic attack. And there was lots of shouting. They made Tommy delete his footage because he was like filming the fucking cop car. Like he was just getting some B-roll. He got his camera, just like fucking put it right next to the cop car to film it. And then this guy comes over and is shouting, and then we go in the back of the van. He deletes all the footage. He didn't see my camera, so I was just like hoping, you know, he didn't see me. But lots of shouting, and then we didn't leave the van for like 30 minutes after. They just made us sit and like fucking stew for a while. It was pretty scary. And I asked if we could leave, and they're like, no, you definitely can't leave. Like, you might go to prison for this. It's like a felony or something in China. So
damn. But then after a long enough time passed, they were like, all right.
Yeah. Honestly, it's all kind of a blur. And I was just passenger princess with Tommy. Like, I just let him do all the talking and, you know, so sometimes ignorance gets you out of trouble.
It does. Yes. That's when I got my first run in with cops was just because I danced on the court during a Shanghai Sharks basketball game. And I was just like, I did not know in China, you guys had a rule where you can't do that. I was like,
no freedom of expression.
Sorry, like in the U.S., I always like dancing.
What?
Dancing
Everybody does this at Knicks games. What do you mean?
I'm part of the cheer squad.
It's a halftime dance-off. That's what we do, baby.
Yes.
Somebody's got to twerk.
And you know they've seen it because how big Yao was.
Oh, the NBA is very popular.
Right.
So I'm sure they're like, we don't see random fans dancing on the court.
Maybe they thought
games.
you were Red Panda and doing the plates. You're about to do the plates.
Yeah. But I just acted like dumb. And like the main thing is they want to check for is just that you're in the country legally.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like if you have a camera, I think the worst that happens is they'll just like delete all of the footage and let you go on your way.
Yeah. But as a YouTuber, that's kind of like a worst case.
Yeah, that sucks. That's why I used to have video camera shades, and there was like,
I'm saying, bro, ahead of your time. Now it's like the Meta. Everybody's got the Meta ones.
yeah, but the Meta shades can only film for like 1 minute, like max at a time. These could film for like an hour straight.
Holy shit!
And one time I got apprehended by the cops, and like they did delete some of my footage, but I had the shades rolling.
Just film with the police.
Yeah.
You
you
had
have
like
that on
the
a
little
hard
red
drive?
dot covered, right?
Yeah, they could, because the red dot was on the inside.
Yeah.
That was the first generation of these shades, and then I think when they came out with a new one, they were like, someone told us we had to put the red dot on the outside because it was almost like too shady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voyeur shit.
Yeah.
If you introduce that to the Japanese market, all hell would break
But
loose, bro.
yeah, that
So
was
many upskirt videos.
Yeah. Jeez, yeah, those shades were dangerous.
Yeah.
But that was also like 2010 to 2015. Those were kind of the golden years to be a foreigner in China. They didn't really care what you did as long as you weren't fighting Chinese people or selling drugs to Chinese people. They were just like, you guys can do whatever the hell you want.
So you could say Taiwan's a country and it'd be
Oh
okay.
yeah, or
Okay, all
or
right.
talk about Tibet or Taiwan. Yeah, those were the 4 rules. But
Yeah.
now, I think especially because you were in Xinjiang and then on the North Korean border, those are 2 very sensitive areas where,
Yeah.
like, the police are on high alert about foreigners or citizen journalists. I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm like, oh, poor me. I mean, we were asking for it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It happens.
That's what like a big part of being a travel YouTuber is sometimes you are asking for trouble
Yeah.
and your hopes, well, I hope I get into like some trouble because that would make great content.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not so much trouble that they like lock me up or
Yeah.
take away my camera.
It's a razor's edge you got to walk. You know.
Are you a repeat visitor guy to like doing your show and everything where you go back to the same country multiple times or like multiple, like even places, cities?
Yeah, I would. I hesitate with cities because I feel like, you know, the channel is Small Brain American. It's kind of like I am kind of leaning into the ignorance thing. So I feel like that's the most fun videos is when it's all completely new. I will go back to places for like certain characters. Like I filmed in Myanmar and I met this like alcoholic taxi driver and we had a lot of fun and I would love to go back there. I don't know if I should with like the military situation. But it's never off the table. Like if the concept is good enough, I'll go back for sure.
Okay.
And I filmed like dozens of videos in Japan. I went to the North Korean border twice, you know. I think if the idea is compelling enough, I'll do it again, you know. So,
Did you used to live in Japan?
yeah, I was there a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Just teaching English, man.
Teaching English.
Deadbeat English teacher.
So that's what I did my first like year and a half in
Oh,
China
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So is that when you graduated college, or I don't even know if you did graduate college?
Yeah, I went to
but-
UGA.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Then you were like, okay, I'm going to go live abroad for a year and then.
Yeah, I was kind of just like a burnout, like druggy, like no plan. I graduated and didn't have an internship, didn't have money saved, didn't have shit. I just had like an apartment that was $230 a month. So I just could coast and like, you know, sell some Adderall on the side, like, not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like taught music. I was just a fucking bum, honestly.
Hell yeah.
And then my mom like pitched me the idea. Or no, I found some like networking event through UGA about teaching English in the Czech Republic. And for whatever reason, like my fucking drug addict mind was like, oh, this is the only place I can teach English. So I like interviewed. I think I got the position. And then my mom pitched me on the idea like, oh, why don't you go to Japan and do it? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I can do that. And then I just got the first job. Worked at a place called Nova. I would not recommend it. It was just like, I'm sure it was like this in China. They just view you as like a cog in the machine type shit and didn't value you at all. But it got me over there. So
Yeah.
it was a blessing.
Yeah, the first job I took in China, just because you're so dumb, you don't know, like, it was a horrible job. Like, I was getting paid jack shit, teaching like 8 classes of 40 people per class, like a day. And then by my like second year in China, I was like teaching like, you know, 3 classes a day, being paid twice as much. It just
Really?
like took some time to figure out. Like at first they were just completely ramming me up the butt.
Interesting. What were you making?
Just
Like,
because they knew they could take advantage of me. I didn't
Yeah.
like know what to expect out there.
what were you making at first? Like $2,000 a month or something? Or
My very first job, no, I was getting paid $1,000 a month.
oh no, dude.
It was $6K RMB. It was $1,000 a month. It came with a free apartment.
Okay,
But-
that's where they get you.
It was holy shit. It was like $1,000 a month.
That's way better money than you were making at the Kung Fu.
The Kung Fu Cantina, yeah, I was doing better than the Kung Fu Cantina.
What's that?
No, that I lived in Clemson for a year.
Okay.
This was like after China, but
Okay.
before working for Barstool, and was getting paid below minimum wage there.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah, we haven't done an episode on China yet, just because like I feel like we'd have to do multiple episodes because I was there for so long. So when we start talking about China, we'll have to be like, we're going to talk about this aspect of China, like jobs.
Yeah.
And we can do an aspect on like nightlife. It just seems so overwhelming to like try to sum up my like 8 years in Shanghai in one podcast.
That's a good idea. Do it topic by topic.
Yeah,
A little more organized.
I think so.
Because it's a beast. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a whole kingdom.
Today's episode of Drop a Pin is brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. Spring is in full bloom on DraftKings Casino. Its new offers and promos are spouting up daily. Right now, new players can play $5 on anything, and you're going to get 350 casino spins instantly on a featured slot game. You could download the app and sign up with the code DROP. Take the featured slot for a spin and explore thousands of others in the DraftKings game library. Check back daily to claim those hottest offers and promos on DraftKings casinos. The crown is yours. I think it's a great time if you're just bored at home, sitting there,
Yeah.
and you want to get on that.
My grandma would love this deal.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace. But I used to always play the slots with her. She would have the time of her life. And so, you know, she would be all over this.
I got to admit, I didn't think you would have a reference to your grandmother who passed away in the DraftKings promo.
Hey, she passed away at 102. It was
Full life.
A long,
Full life.
life.
You don't want
Happy
any
life.
more than 102.
Yeah.
I don't
I feel like that's good. Yeah.
All right, that's
102 is
good. And so is the DraftKings Casino.
yeah,
Make sure you go check it out.
Was it $300?
350 spins.
300
If you spend $5 on anything, you get 350 spins.
All right. Well, place a bet on the NBA or the MLB and get those spins.
And make sure you use the promo code DROP.
Drop a Pin is also brought to you by Mando. Hit it, chaps. You ever step outside and feel like you're instantly drenched in sweat? I know I have. It's like no matter what you do, it doesn't stop. Well, if you've been struggling with the heat and humidity like I have great news. Mando has just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level. Not only do they have their deodorant spray, they also just came out with a Mando deodorant plus sweat control solid stick. It's double protection. So finally, you get the odor control you love with Mando plus powerful sweat control. I've got friends, they walk outside for 10 minutes in the summer and their shirt is just, it just turns dark and it's quite embarrassing for them. But ever since I've got them onto Mando, that is no longer a problem. So it's got clinical strength sweat control. So one swipe and you're good to go. That's all you need. I mean, Chaps is going a little overboard, but if you get the sweat control stick, all you need is just one swipe.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. This is not your typical deodorant. It's 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours, and after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. This stuff works. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free pouches of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant swipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code WONTON at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Once again, that is shopmando.com and code WONTON. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered. With deodorant plus sweat control, say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. This is going to be such a lifesaver for myself and a few of my particularly sweaty friends. Drop a Pin is also brought to you by NASCAR. There's nothing like seeing NASCAR roar through the streets of downtown Chicago, a race experience unlike any other. If you've ever been to downtown Chicago, I'd say it's got the coolest cityscape in the country, and the only thing that could make that cooler is a bunch of NASCAR cars zooming through. Catch the stars of NASCAR take on a one-of-a-kind street course surrounded by skyscrapers and lakefront views. 40 drivers, including Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin, battle it out on the most unique track of the season. The energy is electric, and the Zach Brown Band is going to be performing live that Saturday night as part of the Busch Light Summer Music Series. This is more than a race. It's Chicago's ultimate summer weekend. Get your tickets now before they're gone. So you'll want to go to NASCAR.com to get those tickets.
and you'll have the ultimate summer weekend. This race is going down July 5th and 6th, so it'll be July 4th weekend. One of the best times to be in Chicago. Once the weather warms up, the city comes alive, and it's going to be alive with the sounds of race cars too. So once again, NASCAR.com to get your tickets. Let's get back in the pod.
I would love to talk to you about Myanmar, also known as Burma, right? Because I lived in Asia for a while, never made it there.
Yeah.
And I know it, like at first when I moved out there, they were like, you shouldn't go. And then there was like a 2-year span where they're like, it's actually very safe to travel there now. And I had some friends going, and then it got bad again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, when were you there? Was it
I was
like
there 2023, like February, March 2023.
Okay.
So I think what you're referring to is like they were a dictatorship, and then they decided to have elections, and they had that for like 2 years. And then they elected this woman, and then the military was like, we don't accept the results of the election. And then they took over back the democratically elected whatever.
Yeah.
Like the military just took over. I don't know if you've seen that like viral clip of the Burmese like Zumba instructor doing the live stream on like this big road.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The fucking military like
Yep.
takes over like
Yeah.
in her live stream.
It almost looked like Tiananmen Square type vibes,
Yeah.
but just with yoga.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hilarious clip. It's very sad, but a hilarious clip.
Yeah. And then that woman who was the president at the time, like she was thrown in jail, right?
I think she's still in prison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might be in jail for life. But you like, can we as Americans travel there? You just got to apply
Yeah.
to a visa.
I mean, the State Department says do not travel, but you know, they say that for all the fun places.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I entered and just kind of fucked around in Yangon for a bit, and I met a lot of like alcoholics there, man. Like a lot of people, I think they're just kind of, they don't make much money. They just chew the betel nut and like smoke cigarettes and just drink, and all their teeth are fucked up. And but they're really, really, really sweet people. Honestly, I'm not interested in Southeast Asia like whatsoever. I would go to Laos and I go back to Vietnam, but all the other countries they're just boring, honestly. Philippines and like Indonesia. I don't know. Something about it, they just don't interest me. But Myanmar, I think maybe just because the political turmoil is just like inherently fucking interesting. And yeah, I think that people are just sweeter there because they never see visitors. You know, it's kind of like Iraq or like somewhere else that doesn't get a lot of visitors. They're just really nice.
Yangon used to be called Rangoon. We had Ari Shafir on this pod. He was claiming that he was able to get a crab Rangoon in Yangon. And I called him, I accused him of lying. He was like, hey, how dare you accuse me of lying on my own podcast? Did you ever see crab Rangoons there?
No, honestly, the food wasn't good that I had in Myanmar. It wasn't good.
No.
If I saw a crab rangoon, I would eat like 12 of them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
But who knows? I was only in Yangon for like 4 days. So
4 days.
Yeah.
And they have like, did you make it down to the beaches or the temples? I know they have an area of Myanmar that's got like beautiful temples.
Yeah, Bagan, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's like the ancient capital. They have all these old school Buddhist pagodas. It's really cool. It's kind of like Indiana Jones. Like it's kind of like, because I went in the dry season, so it's really dry and sandy and dusty, and you just have like kind of like fucking enshrined like ancient Buddha statues, like untouched. It feels like you're like uncovering it for the first time. It's cool.
Yeah. Search a photo of Bagan. I think is it spelled like Bagan?
If it's right. Yeah.
Bagan. And then they've got,
Holy shit, that's beautiful.
yeah, they've got just all these.
Oh man, doing that hot air balloon would be insane.
Yeah. I wouldn't trust Myanmar health code standards though.
No.
Safety.
Click on the sunrise.
They don't have
man.
OSHA there.
Oh, I
think
did.
so.
I realized. So I was just down in Mexico City, and we did a hot air balloon. And Corey, who I was with, is like terrified of heights. He wasn't gonna go, and I was like, dude, it's a hot air balloon. Like nothing bad's gonna happen. These are super safe. 2 days after we went, a hot air balloon caught on fire, and like 2 people fell to their death. It was not in the same exact spot in Mexico, but literally 2 days later in Mexico. And it looked like the worst way to go ever because the hot air balloon caught on fire. So then the person in the little basket, you're trying to avoid the fire. So he climbs on like a rope down below the basket and then eventually can't hold on anymore and just drops and dies.
Oh my God. And
This
that's
is
like
this is all caught on tape too.
Jesus. And that's like a romantic thing. Like they're probably like honeymooners. Like
Oh, yeah.
he had just proposed or something. You know?
Or people making a NASCAR video.
Yeah, dude,
It's one of the two.
a NASCAR promo.
So you said Southeast Asia, not really your jam. Where do you like to go and you just know it's going to be wild and a great time.
I mean, China is reliably adventurous. Like, honestly, you can go to the most mom and pop, like, bullshit, little boring festival, and, like, it'll just be so fun. Like, everyone is so curious. It's kind of like Japan. Like, the orderliness is kind of there, and, you know, people like to smoke cigs, and that's always fun. But it's just a little more lawless, I'd say. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just dipping my toes in it. I'm just kind of discovering. And who knows, with the latest videos I posted, maybe I'll never go back. But Japan also is way up there. Japan is fucking tits. Like, it's
I agree.
just so fun anywhere you go. Yeah,
I love China and Japan. I definitely wouldn't compare the two.
Yeah, I mean, they're both East Asia, but
Yeah, I think it might be easier to make friends with the locals in China than it is in Japan. In Japan, the locals are super friendly, super polite, but it might be like harder to actually get to know them, to get them to open up.
yeah,
I don't
they're
know
definitely
if-
guarded.
Okay,
But after
yeah.
2 beers,
Yeah,
they're
that's-
fine.
The Papasans, whenever they come over, I used to have some that would come sit in my garden, just dudes that live there too. Like I
Yeah.
had a little koi fish garden, and we would just sit out there and crush beer. It
Yeah.
was sick.
Yeah,
Nice,
You lived
yeah.
in Japan? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Yeah, for almost 4 years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, lovely country.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was great. I loved it. Every aspect of it I really liked. The food was amazing.
yeah, it's my favorite place to eat or drink on the planet for sure.
Yeah. It'll turn you into an alcoholic, though. Like, I live in Osaka, and it's just the best thing to do there is to drink.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
And smoke, like, because you can rip 500 cigarettes
Yeah.
there a day and maybe get like a milligram of nicotine. Like, there's nothing. So it's just like old school. I'm
Yeah.
doing this basically for the conversation, you know?
yeah, it's casual. And you're getting a secondhand smoke in the bar anyway, so you might as well rip a couple.
On the street, anywhere, like everywhere you go.
And you think of Japan as way more first world than China, but China officially banned like smoking in bars and restaurants, and you can still smoke inside bars and restaurants when you're in Japan.
Some. They've changed some of that recently, like
Oh,
where
okay.
they don't want you to. Because I used to laugh at this sign that was designed for Americans that was no smoking day long. Which, instead of all day no smoking,
Okay.
it was no smoking day long.
Okay.
Yeah, Japanglish and Chinglish.
Yeah, they got rid of the smoking car in the Shinkansen as well.
Oh, yeah?
I went back.
Oh, they don't have it
Nope.
on
it's
the
gone,
train.
dude. It's gone.
I filmed a video on smoking cigs in the Hoon cart, so you can throw in a clip, Sam.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I filmed in there too. It's legendary smoking experience. I bought a pack to smoke in there, like just for fun.
Yep.
And you'd think it'd be like a social thing, like, hey, this is fun, but it's always just like salaryman miserable, just like scrolling on their phone, just like ripping a cig as fast as they possibly can.
Yes.
It's not like a
Yeah.
social thing.
For your videos, do you find that Asia does typically better, or where would you say like your wheelhouse is?
I say I pretty much only film in Asia now. Like I got robbed in Colombia a number of times, and so I vowed to never go south of Texas ever again.
Okay.
So I'd go to Peru or
yeah.
Argentina maybe, but nah, it doesn't interest me anymore.
Europe?
No, fuck no. It's boring. It's just too similar. It's like old, like antiquated America. It's like the same culture, same values. It's the same shit. It's just older. I think we're like the updated, better version. I don't
Okay.
know. Europe doesn't really interest me. Yeah.
South America definitely interests me. I mean, I got shaken down in Colombia as well, just because they randomly thought I had cocaine on me. But
Oh, the cops.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
by the cops, but they were trying to get a bribe, but they couldn't find any blows, so they weren't able to get a bribe, and they were
Yeah.
pissed. So, but I'm not ready to give up on South America just because of one bad experience. Like,
That's fair.
I would love to explore Peru, Argentina, and Brazil at some point in my life.
I want to go to the Galapagos in a bad way.
Yeah. Now that'd be really like good looking content. It's like I don't as like a YouTuber like he is, I don't know how much like great.
I heard the send off town. What's it called? Fuck, I can't remember. It's like some city on the shore to get to the Galapagos is supposed to be a real shithole. So it could be interesting. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Do you believe so? There's been this whole trend of YouTubers in China posting really positive vids, and they've been accused of all. They're just like American YouTubers that are working for the Chinese government. Like, do you believe that's the case?
I mean, I'm sure there's like the one off. I've definitely got some DMs. I've gotten like probably 4 to 5 emails like, hey, I run a tour company in China. We'd like to take you around on a tour and show you all the best things. So maybe that's a sincere request. I don't know. But something tells me it's a little fishy. Like it could be like a government run thing that you know, they're gonna like control everything. But I do think the majority of people like mean well. I think China's just really polarizing because like, why can't I just go and have a good time and talk about it? Like, why does it have to be a political statement to have fun? Like, if I made a video like that in Japan, no one would be like, oh, the government's paying for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just such a polarizing place. If I say it's bad, then I have like 2 billion Chinese people in my DMs like saying, fuck you. And if I say it's good, like all these redneck Americans are like, hey, you're being paid. You know, it's like, there's no right way to do it, you know?
Yes. I can say that I was never controlled by the Chinese government when I was out there.
Well,
I just filmed what I thought would be
The number wasn't high enough.
I just filmed what I thought would be funny, entertaining content, and I do think it helped a lot of at least Barstool fans' perception of China, because at that point, like, you're only kind of hearing negative things about it in terms of the like trade war, or it's like World War III is USA versus China, like you better get ready. But then they like saw these vids of me just fucking around in China, having a good time. I would say like, even when I was quote unquote fucking with Chinese people, 90% of the time they're smiling too and having a fun time.
yeah.
And it got like, I would get a lot of DMs being like, I never thought I would ever want to visit China. Your videos make it look so much fun.
Dude, I felt the same exact way.
Yeah.
When I first started, because I was pretty fresh out of the Marines, I was like, this guy's a absolute wild card, like living by himself in China. Because what you hear, you know, like State Department warnings and Americans being held, like you hear stories like that much more than you do. This guy had a great time looking like Roger Federer.
Yeah,
Like,
hilarious video.
you know?
So fucking funny.
Yeah, or just like watching a basketball game there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, you were one of the
Crushing
first
beers.
content creators that I saw where I was like, oh, it's okay. Because especially I lived in Japan like you, and, you know, everyone in Japan's terribly racist against Chinese people.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, why would I ever go there? It's a shithole. It's dirty. They spit in the floor. There's shit everywhere. And then you go, and I see your videos, and I'm like, oh, wait, it looks fun.
That looks like a toilet. actually.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not India.
Yes. And just, yeah, I would say like 90% of just the people you're going to meet on the street in China are like very friendly, happy to meet you. There's, I mean, some of them, because like they only get one news channel, and I'm sure that news channel is normally probably not saying the nicest things about the U.S., but I only noticed any sort of anti-Americanism up in Beijing just because like it's closer to the central government. But
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even call it anti-Americanism. It's just like in Beijing, like they're not going to fuck around. They more expect you to like conform to their culture up there. Like, whereas like in Shanghai, if you don't know much Chinese, they're happy to speak some English or something like that. Or it was more, so the one story that is coming to mind, I had a friend who was at a bar up in Beijing, and he kept on trying to get the bartender's attention for a drink, and like he started to get pretty impatient. He was like, sir, I just need a drink. Come on, I just need a fucking drink. And the bartender, I think, jumped across the bar and beat the shit out of him.
I support that.
Yeah.
Like if you're being a dick in the service industry,
yes.
you should have the option. All right, well, let's do a little fisticuffs.
Yeah, pop in the balls.
Yeah, exactly. Little nut tap and you're good. So you've said that Vietnam is one of your favorite places, right?
That's lovely, yeah.
So let's say somebody's going to Vietnam and you have a 4-day itinerary. What are you telling them that they should do?
I'd say just hop on a motorcycle in the north, like fly into whatever that Hanoi, I think is the northern
Hanoi.
city. Just get on a motorbike and just go. Just fucking drive. Just go into the mountains.
Yeah.
Go near the Chinese border. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Eat as much as you can.
Yeah.
There's a crazy town that's, I think it's near the Vietnamese and Chinese border. It might be the Vietnam and Burma border. That it's this huge gambling capital. I'm not talking about Macau. This is like...
Is it Cambodia, Chinese border? The special economic zone?
It could be. I think it's a big like heroin smuggling hotspot too.
Oh, yeah.
The Golden Triangle, I think it's called.
Yeah, town on China Burma border.
I know what you're talking about. It's controlled by this like autonomous, like they call themselves a country, I think, like the Wa people, where like the CIA like smuggled heroin through there for years.
CIA stories from that part of the world are just absolutely wild.
Yeah, dude.
There's a book called The Devil's Chessboard where it talks about the Dulles brothers, like that Dulles
Yes, dude.
airport is,
Oh.
and it is insane.
I've gone down some YouTube rabbit holes, bro. Weren't they Nazis? Or they like
Nazi
went over
adjacent.
and helped Hitler with some stuff?
Yeah, for sure. And they're very much apologists for a lot of things that were going on. They didn't really want to get involved in the wars. They were like, it's not really that big of a deal. It doesn't concern us too much.
Right. It's not good for business.
But then they realized that Americans could go in and you could establish like some regional dominance because you're going there. The Dulles brothers were pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people died because of them.
Wasn't Dulles like the first director of the CIA?
Yeah, so you have Dulles, and he was like one of his proteges was H.W. Bush.
Oh.
So when Dulles became the Secretary of State, H.W. was rising to be the director of the CIA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It goes deep.
Yeah, it does. And then it's still like the Skull and Bones Society at Yale has elements of that still. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you watch, I don't know if you've seen the Bin Laden documentary on Netflix right now. It's like
I've
Hunt
heard
for
it
the
was
Mon-
good.
It got me so fucking like proud to be an American. I'm like, CIA, let's go. And then you hear about this and you're like, well, actually, it's,
Yeah,
it's
win
complicated.
some, lose some.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A lot of coups.
Yeah,
Yeah,
coups
yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
I'd love to be involved in a coup
In what way?
I don't know. It's kind of
as like a henchman.
You'd make a good henchman, I feel
You
like.
know, like I'd want to be like a mercenary involved.
if you're on the wrong side
Not
of the coup,
now because I'm
like
42, but 15 years ago.
who was the guy that tried to coup Putin?
Oh yeah, the dude that they poisoned on his way to.
No, the dude who ended up dying in a plane crash, like shortly
the
after.
guy that was in charge of the Wagner Group.
Yeah, in charge of the Wagner Group. Like the moment, so he was like on the warpath towards Moscow. He was in full coup mode, and then all of a sudden, it's like they came to a truce. He's
Well, because,
and like
yeah, the Wagner Group was trying to return back because they didn't think Putin was going far enough in Ukraine.
yeah,
So they had teamed up with Hungary's president, right, like pretty much right when that was kicking off. They had an alliance, and then the dude that led the Wagner Group was like going towards Moscow.
Yeah.
They came to an agreement, and then 2 days after the agreement, Russia shot down that plane.
yeah, or I think it was a few weeks or maybe like a month later. But I knew like the moment they
Pretty
like
soon after.
the moment they like called a truce, I was like, Putin is
Somebody's falling out a window.
yeah, like he's not gonna forgive this, like, you know, oh, sorry about that little coup thing, but we're cool now, right? No, you guys are not cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like the China-United States relationship is primarily economic. Like the battles back and forth are primarily economic, where the Russia conflict with us could have more of a military, well, maybe not now, but like historically more of a military threat instead of the economics part. Is Russia a place that you would be concerned about knowing what's going on geopolitically?
Yeah, I'd go. I don't know, man. I've said some stuff in my videos. That's my problem is I can't ever make like neutral videos. I always have to have a fucking opinion on something. So I went to Ukraine and like kind of ran my mouth, and these kids convinced me to say like Putin's an asshole or something like that. And I mean, even me saying it right now, like if this was published, I mean, I don't think I can ever go to Russia. Long story short, I've been told if I just like privated a couple videos, it'd be fine. But governments scare me, man. Like people are one thing, like the barrio in Colombia is one thing. It's scary, but it's not as imposing as like when I was in Myanmar. You asked this earlier. I went to this beach town and I was in this little bungalow, and I heard like military jeeps in the middle of the night, 3-4 in the morning, like taking people. You know, and the thing with government is like they can just snatch you, bro. Like you'll never see it coming, and there's nothing you can do. Like there's no State Department there, and you're pretty much fucked. So, yeah, Russia scares me. You know?
So did you visit Ukraine after the war had started?
Yeah, it was like, I can't remember when it was. Sometime in 2022.
Okay.
Like late 2022, September, I think.
Where'd you go in Ukraine?
Went to Lviv, and then I went to Kyiv.
Okay.
And then I was in Kyiv, and then they announced like they were going to do something militarily. Like Putin said something about nukes in a speech, and I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I rode my motorcycle like 2 days to the Moldovan border, and that was a whole ass journey in itself. I like got stranded, like my bike was running out of gas, and then also the battery was fucked, and it was like 2 a.m, and I was like riding on this little like dirt Moldovan road, and I couldn't shut off the bike because I knew if I shut it off it wouldn't start again, but I was running out of gas, and it was raining. Saw a dead kitty on the side of the road. It was like frozen. It was dead. Like I was like, that could be me, bro. So
Yeah,
just
that's
kept going.
depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll up to a hotel at like 3 a.m, just banged on the door just to get somebody to come.
Okay.
And they finally came. And
Yeah, I think the rule is like if an American wants to go to Ukraine now, you can go. You just can't fly in. You would have to take a train, right,
Poland,
or something.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you go to the border and then take like a bus or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, I've been invited to Ukraine by some fans, and like I've heard it's like as long as you're not in the combat areas, it's perfectly safe. I just
Yeah.
think my like wife, especially now that we have a young kid, would be pissed if she like knew
Yeah.
I was going to Ukraine.
Gotta play it safer, I guess.
Yeah.
But Lviv is okay. I think they had like a power outage. That's the worst they've had in the last year or two.
Okay.
Like the Russians somehow got to the grid and shut out the power. But I mean, Poland's right across the border.
Yeah.
You know,
And you
Poland
mentioned
doesn't fuck around.
no.
like they
No.
wouldn't let you in.
Like
type
their
thing?
military is very, very strong.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like Poland, if you could go to Poland, you have a little bit of protection. One from the EU will protect you a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned you went to Moldova.
Yeah.
I've never been. That probably, I think it always gets ranked as like the worst country in Europe. Like either it's like the poorest, or I think I saw a stat, it was the unhappiest country in Europe. Like it's on the bottom of a lot of it's on the bottom of a lot of positive lists in Europe, and it's
Yeah.
up high on a lot of
Yeah,
negative
yeah.
lists in Europe.
I could see that. I mean, I think after the Soviets split, they had kind of like some infighting as like, are we going to be Soviet? Are we not going to be Soviet? And that's why they have Transnistria. I'm sure you've heard about this.
Yes.
It's like a breakaway state.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they have like some Soviet relics there. I think like all the oligarchs like stole money from the government, and they're just completely fucked. And lots of dirt roads, but you'll have like a dirt road for like 10 miles, and then have like a beautiful statue, and it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, what are our priorities?
Yeah.
You know?
That reminds me of North Macedonia, which has this, I think it's like a very poor country, but they have this gigantic Alexander the Great statue, because Alexander the Great was Macedonian.
Yeah.
And it costs like 25 mil or something. And
I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cool statue, but the people from North Macedonia were pissed. They're like,
Can we eat?
yeah, they're like, we really
some bread,
needed
dog.
that money. They're also in a big fight with Greece, because I guess where Alexander the Great was from is now part of Greece. Like he was not born, and he didn't live where North Macedonia is now.
That's
even
kind of
though it
like
has
the
that
NFL
name.
with the Houston Oilers. Does their records belong with Houston or with the Tennessee Titans now? Same
It's
kind of vibe.
it's very similar. I think like Greece tried to like veto them building Alexander the Great statue. They're like, no, we claim Alexander the Great.
He's ours.
It's not North Macedonia.
And we have that battle with Abraham Lincoln between
About
like
who claims them?
Kentucky and Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, Illinois calls itself the land of Lincoln.
Yeah. And Kentucky takes big time ownership of Abraham Lincoln too.
When did he live in Kentucky?
I'm not.
I don't think we can let Kentucky claim
Just pass
Lincoln
through or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that area that I was talking about was called the
Oh, it's his
Golden Triangle.
birthplace.
But okay, he was born there.
Yeah. LaRue County, Kentucky.
That's fair. I feel like they can both get him.
Yeah, I feel like Kentucky might have more. Well, you don't really associate Ernest Hemingway with Oak Park, like the suburb of Chicago, or Betty White with the same one.
She's from Oak Park too.
Frank Lloyd Wright as well.
I did know that.
You're just full of trivia.
Yes. Yep. He's the office trivia guy. Wow. Yeah. What's on your bucket list, I guess, of spots you really want to go
Yeah, I mean, I would love to explore more of Central Asia. It's really mysterious. It's kind of hard to get around. You know, it's hard to. I don't know. I just feel like it's less well trodden. You know.
to? Okay. Well, it's not hard to get around if you use my tour guide, Jamal.
Jamal.
Yes, he was my guy in Tajikistan.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my driver the whole time. He is the #1 most requested person that I film more content with.
Really?
Just because he was so loved by my viewers. So like I've been trying to get back there.
Really?
I even offered when I went to Turkey to bring guys to get hair transplants. I hit up Jamal. I was like, I'll pay for your flight from Tajikistan to Turkey,
No
and
way.
he had some obligation. He couldn't come, but
Wow.
yeah, high on my list.
Yeah, I'll
of
hit him up. Why do people like him?
great sense of humor. Great, like very funny guy. I would say not all of his humor is intentional, but he also considers himself a comedian. He's got some solid jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, and just super nice guy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'll hit him up if I ever go. Tajikistan. That borders Afghanistan, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, he took us for a long drive where we got to there's a river that separates the two countries. So we went to one spot where we could throw rocks into
It's supposed to be
Afghanistan.
really nice, that area between the two countries. I had a friend that did the land border, and he said it was stunning.
Yes,
scenery.
I think it's called the Pamir Mountains, or it's near the Pamir Mountains.
And the roads are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the roads, they're terrible.
Yeah, that kind of scares me.
I mean, I guess the craziest country there is Turkmenistan.
Yeah, but you have to have a guide. I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of lame for a video, holding your hand the whole time.
I was thinking that too, is that, they get 10,000 tourists a year. I think we've talked about it on the pod, but the content you film is going to be very controlled.
That's like the golden statues, right?
Yeah, I think everything in the capital has to be white, white and gold and stuff. And the dictator of that country, he's changed the days of the week, and he's named them after him.
I love that.
That's so
people he
badass,
likes.
dude.
I completely agree.
If I was a dictator,
awesome.
that's the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
But no, I heard he's a megalomaniac. He's kind of like the Kim Jong-un of Central Asia. He made them all have the same color car. All the cars had to be white. And then one day he's like, nah, black. It's black now. And then so everyone just had to change the color of their cars.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's a great move. If you're going to be a dictator, you got to do stuff
have
like
some
that.
fun with it.
Right.
Yeah. You have the power.
Kim Jong-un's just everybody has to have my haircut. You get 5 haircuts, and they all are ones I like.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to wear that navy blue blazer.
I wish you would make everybody have a mullet. A whole country of mullet wearers.
Yeah.
I think that would do wonders for their reputation around the world. If it was just a nation of mullets, who's scared of that?
You'd be like, oh, they're humble people.
They really love 90s country.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I filmed in a country, Bhutan, that's really kind of secretive and stuff, similar to Turkmenistan. Not as crazy, but I had a state-sanctioned tour guide, and I thought I could make the most of it. But honestly, I think I made good videos there, but it was despite the tour guide. He's like, hey, now we're going to go to a monastery. And I was like, dude, I don't want to go to monasteries. I want to talk to people. I want to eat some food. I want to see some cool shit. They had a dick temple there where they worship dicks. I want to go to the dick temple. And he's like, oh, yes, but we will go in the mountains now. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking, it's especially in a place like that where the image is so strictly controlled, I think it'd be really challenging to,
I've done trips like that. It's rough.
Yeah.
When you got a guy kind of looking over your shoulder, and he clearly doesn't understand what type of content you're trying to
and
get.
it makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah.
And I'll walk up to a stranger and I'll ask a question oh, what are you doing with this goat? And then the tour guide will chime in and be like, oh, he's doing this. And I'm like, I'm making a YouTube video. I don't want just to be you and me.
Yeah. The you've been to Kyrgyzstan, right?
Yeah.
Is that
briefly.
the country they call the Switzerland of Central Asia?
I don't know, but I would believe it. It was gorgeous. They have snow leopards there as well.
Ooh.
It's pretty high altitude stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
From Kyrgyzstan to China, it was very high altitude, really rocky. And we went in August, and there was snow on the top of the mountains, or September.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's really brutal in the winter.
What would you say your most successful video is that you go back to and this one kills? And not necessarily just because of views, but the one that you're hell yeah.
Drinking in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could go right now. I could literally get on a flight to Tokyo right now and go film a video in Japan drinking and smoking cigarettes, and it would please me so much. My heart would be so happy if I did that.
More of a beer guy there, or sake, or
you start with
whiskey?
beer. You start with beer, and then you have whiskey highballs and smoke cigarettes. I actually was in this bar when I used to live there, and the cigarette representatives will come into the bar and give you cigarettes. They're like, "Hey, here's a new berry cigarette you can try."
It's like the dispensary discounts that you get here.
Oh wait. Oh, it's legal here, isn't it?
Oh yeah, in Michigan. If you want to go get a bunch of great weed, go across the border to Michigan. You can get a 10-pack of gummies with 200 milligrams for legitimately $4.
Oh wow!
You can't buy Harborough gummy bears for as cheap as you can get.
Wow.
Weed gummies. In Michigan.
Why is that? They just want to get you hooked type shit, or
what? They can grow it out. They're one of the only states that allows you to grow it outdoors. Like in Illinois, everything has to be grown indoors. There, they have farms that have dedicated pulled up soybeans, and now they're doing nothing but weed.
Wow.
So it's kind of oversaturated their market, where I mean, I probably bought 6 months of weed that I would use as a daily user for like $150.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's very responsible for you to like pace it out like that. If back in my drug days, that'd be gone in like 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, like.
My wife keeps me in check a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. You mentioned drinking in Japan. So he has a series which is like an alcoholic's guide to drinking in Tokyo, an alcoholic's guide to drinking in Osaka. And have you filmed those all over the world, like an alcoholic's guide?
No, because I don't really want to make like repeat content. I know it would do well, but I just don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, you know, one hit wonder type thing.
Yeah.
But I do have some plans for Japan. I don't know what other city I would do it in, but same shit, different
Hiroshima.
city, you know. Yeah. I did kind of a drinking video in Hiroshima with Okonomiyaki, the Okonomimura. It's a building with like, it's like an old abandoned mall, and they put all these Okonomiyaki shops in them. It's like probably 75 shops serving the same food in this one building. And you go, they open at 10 a.m.
Okonomiyaki is a Japanese pancake. If you're listening, it's like a savory pancake.
Yeah.
Made with cabbage and squid and all sorts of
Pork
stuff.
belly, cheese,
So
tomatoes.
good.
It literally means like whatever you want grilled. That's what it translates to.
Oh, okay.
So you can get like oysters, you can get scallops, whatever you want. But I always get the pork belly with cheese and like a bunch of sauce. Back in the day when I was living there, we took an overnight bus and we arrived at like 6 in the morning. And we just like stood outside this place until it opened at 10. Just super tired. And it's kind of like a Waffle House, but it's like encouraged to drink there. Oh, you've lived in Japan. You fucking know. But yeah, you just sit there and have a couple okonomiyakis, oysters, some beers. Like, it's just a good time. So,
Were you a Coco Ichibanya guy?
dude, that is like one of the most underrated foods on the planet.
Japanese curry that had like the katsu curry. Oh my god, it's probably legit. If I was having last meal,
Yes.
like if I was going to get executed, that would be in the conversation.
Yeah.
They had those spots all over China. Do you think they have a spot like that here in Chicago?
They don't have one in Chicago. They have one outside of Fort Worth. They have one in Waikiki.
It's a true fan right here.
And they have one in San Diego.
I've looked at the map too, my
You
friend.
sure they don't
I've looked
have
at the
one
map
in
too.
Chinatown? Because they've got all sorts of Asian food in
If they
Chinatown.
do, sorry, but this show's over. We're gonna have to hop on a water taxi.
I
and
found
go up
one
there.
in, I was in,
I think I found some.
No, you didn't. You did not.
I mean, it's not the name brand that you're talking
Coco
about.
Ichibanya.
Oh, there's places that have katsu curry. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay.
Katsu curry
Okay.
definitely have it here, but
Yeah.
this place, like you
Legendary.
go in, 800 milligrams of rice. You do level 6 spicy with cheese on top. Like that's the way.
Dude,
to
that's
go.
my fucking order right there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got like the special katsu curry, like the crispier one. Because the regular one's like a chicken nugget. But if you get the crispier one, it's like
yes.
double fried.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like the flattened out breast.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You get 600 grams of rice, so that's bold. I get 300.
Okay.
Because that fills me up. I get 300. Level 6 spice is also bold. I've regretted that before in the past.
That's probably one of the biggest reasons why I suffer from diarrhea. that
and being shot. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
When I was trying to like blow up on YouTube and stuff, I was started like really paying attention to the algorithm. And even though I had a vid, I was like, okay, this vid should just be called Getting Blackout Drunk, like here, Getting Blackout Drunk with Locals. But I'd be like, that's going to hurt the algorithm. If I call something The Alcoholic's Guide to Drinking, that's going to hurt the algorithm. But now like that series has done very well for you. I know that like guy Mashtag Brady has like a blacking out series.
Yeah.
It seems like that does not affect it at all. Like if it's good content, it will do well.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if, and this is me putting my tinfoil hat on, I wonder if like Trump being elected has anything to do with it, because I feel like all the tech CEOs are like sucking him off, like, no, we're based now, we're red pilled now. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
I have no idea. Do you have any tips for travel YouTubers? I guess me included. Now that I don't have as many subs as you, just for
come on
someone
now.
someone who's trying to build a following.
I'd say just find what you are genuinely interested in, because I think, I don't know, it also helps to like travel for a while before you start filming it. Because I mean, like you lived in China for 8 years before you, or I don't know when you started YouTube, but you know, I had like a lot of experience under my belt, like traveling. And then I was like, all right, let's build the YouTube channel on top of it type thing. Because it's like, I'm never going to stop traveling.
Yeah.
Like, never, you know.
Yeah.
Even right now, I'm burnt out of shit. Like I'm, you know, like shredded right now, but I'm still like planning trips, and I'm never ever going to stop. So I'd say just like, if you're really into it, just do it, and don't expect any views for like the first couple of years. You know?
I think that's the same advice Mr. Beast gave out. Like you got to do 100 videos before your first good one.
Yeah, no, that's true, man.
I think that's great advice because I was like, when I was making YouTube vids, I wasn't doing it as a way to make a living. I genuinely enjoyed doing them. So even when they weren't doing that well, I was like, all right, well, I still had a lot of fun making that vid. So like, I'm still going to keep on doing it, even if it looks like I'm not going to be able to parlay this into making a living.
Yeah, I'm real guilty about that. And I'm sure most people that make content, like you have a new idea and it kind of flops the first time, you're like, well, that idea sucked.
Yeah.
Instead of like pushing forward with what you think is a good idea and waiting for it to gain some traction.
Well, there's also like the argument of like, if it doesn't exist yet, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that like no one has like invented it yet type thing. Everyone does this when they start. They just copy people,
right?
Because they're like, oh, that's what works. But in reality, like you can only get so big doing someone else's style. You have to like innovate and like kind of show people what they don't know that they want yet type thing.
People struggle with that here when they first start, like trying to talk like Portnoy or write like Portnoy.
Yes, for sure. Like, yeah, I will copy his pizza review bit, but only when I'm in like a foreign country that I know there's zero chance Portnoy will ever go there.
Well, it's also a parody.
And it's like a fucking weird ass pizza.
I mean, you could basically say anywhere outside of the United States.
Yeah, it just like, you know, when he reviews pizza, he just reviews a plain cheese pizza. So when I see like, what is a weird pizza I've had?
That pizza that you had at the Chinese place with the gross ass wine.
Oh yeah, that was like a fruit pizza with like pieces of kiwi and peach and
Or what about the weed pizza in Cambodia?
Yeah, the weed pizza in Cambodia. I had like a yak pizza up in the Himalayas. So yeah, it's fun to steal his shtick for that, but yeah,
it's
overall
just parody though. Like
yeah. Yes, that.
What's next for you? What do you got on the docket now?
I don't really have any plans. I'm just like settling up, trying to like build my home office. Just boring real life shit. Because I feel like I've been like a dirtbag for the last like 7 years. I'd like to actually like have a home and like a home studio and just like try to be more productive. Because I feel like working, editing from like hotel room beds is like only gotten me so far. I want to like try to be a little more professional and like I want to do like more targeted like strategic trips. Like, all right, I'm gonna do like a little tour of, you know, South America or whatever for like 6 weeks, and instead of do like, oh, I'm gonna go across this whole fucking continent in like a year, I'm gonna be a little more like strategic with it, you know, because I mean the burnout is real. I'm fucking tired, so
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, did you like how long were you abroad, and are you just back in the U.S. for the first time?
No. I mean, I say 7 years, but that was kind of like between my parents' spare bedroom and living in Japan, and then like going to Colombia, and like I've had like these kind of long-term trips go. My most recent one, I was in Asia. I was trying to go like all the way north to south in Asia, whatever that means. I was going to start in the tip of Japan and go all the way to Australia, but then I was like, wait, the majority of the trip's going to be through countries I don't really care about, like Southeast Asia, Australia. They just don't really interest me. So I kind of pulled the plug and then just did like China, west to east. And that took me a few weeks. So yeah, I guess next I'll pick like another kind of smaller trip and try to be a little more targeted with it, if that makes sense.
I feel like there are so many super wholesome travel vloggers out there. Do you think the fact that you were just like, I'm in India, this place sucks, like helped differentiate you and make your content stand out?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess that's my best theory right now. Because I mean, when I started, I always looked to like, because I mean, you just copy what you see, right? And I only saw like, you know, mindset, grind set, like little like girl boss, like I'm going to teach English abroad and like here's my 5 best tips for whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then so that's how I made it. That's how I made my content. It's like cringy as hell. Like I made some Instagram stories with like affiliate codes in them like in late 2020 and just so fucking cringy. And then I slowly decided like we were talking about earlier, like longevity, like you have to do what you want to do. So I just decided fuck it. And because I feel like my appeal is like I'm just like an average guy, like going to unique places, and I think that's what people are into. Like people that would never go there are like, well, let's see what this average guy has to say, type thing.
Yeah.
So,
you're definitely building a following, because even after I had invited you on the pod, I had like a random person reach out and be like, yo, I've been watching this guy, Small Brain American. You should have him on the pod. And I'm like, well, he's already coming in next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, well, hey, man, thanks a lot for coming on.
This was really fun.
You have a Patreon, right?
Yeah.
That people can subscribe to.
American, yeah. Uncensored, extended cut stuff, early releases to every video.
Any porn or?
No, not yet. Although there have been some gay men in my DMs that have been asking for it.
Yeah. You also do your own podcast, right?
Small Brain Pod. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
sweet.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. I might be hopping on your pod.
Yeah, we'll bang
after
one
this.
out. Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Connor. Thanks
Sam,
so much.
do you have anything you'd like to add?
I feel like the bit's not going to work right now.
It would have worked at any point, Sam. At any point.
So I'm like choking on air.
Jesus.
Allergic to air.
We've been asking Sam to start every time we have a guest. At some point, he has to interrupt the podcast and ask, "Did you see his dick?" just randomly.
I would have
And
had
he
a great story with that.
He's like, "That's a great idea," and he never does it.
I'm trying not to cough back here.
Oh, you would have been fine. You haven't been coughing the whole time. Don't use that excuse.
I've been holding it in.
Stop being a coward, Sam. Ask somebody if he saw his dick.
I promise next time.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's a good place to end.
yeah.
Perfect.
Let's get into some Gettin Cultured.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Getting Cultured. Today we are once again sponsored by Hey Dude, the easy slip-on, slip-off shoes, which are super comfortable. I have been using these the most when I've been smoking meats, because when you're smoking meats, you're constantly going back and forth from outside on your porch to back inside as you just monitor the internal temp. And it's sweet because I can just pop them on, head out to the deck, check on the meats, and then head right back inside.
Yeah, because you can't be a shoes in the house guy right now.
I'm not a
You
shoes in the house guy. I lived in China for a good 8 years, so we have Asian rules in my household.
Same with us.
Yeah. How about you, Zach? Do you have Asian rules in your apartment?
Is that shoes at the door?
Yeah, shoes at the door.
Certainly.
All right.
Socks in the house, but shoes at the door.
Love that.
Love that.
Well done, Zach.
Now, I'm very excited to have Zach on. He's one of the newest Barstool employees. It's kind of a long story how he got hired. We don't have to go into all that just yet, but a fun fact about him is that when he flew up to the Barstool Sports office kind of for his trial day, that was the first time you had been on a plane since you were 3 or 4 with your parents?
Yeah, first time since I was real young.
Okay.
I guess it'd be first time flying solo. So just on my own, going to the airport, get on the plane.
Wow, because that kind of blows my mind, because air travel is something that I just take completely for granted. It comes as second nature. But I do recall when I was young, my very first time flying solo, and it was a pretty daunting event in my life. Holy shit, I'm really doing it. So to be going through that as an adult is wild. What would you say were the most confusing aspects of air travel for you? What were some of the toughest things to conquer?
So certainly off the bat, just getting the ticket information, trying to figure out, I guess there's a check-in situation that I wasn't privy to going into the plane. So I just had an email, and then I was trying to go through the airport there, and well, you haven't checked in. And I was like, well, I knew you checked in hotels. I didn't know you had to check into the airplane. I thought the ticket was my seat. So even that was starting off there was kind of rough.
So you thought just the moment you buy the ticket, just boom, you have a ticket.
Seat. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, and then
That honestly makes sense, because where else do you go somewhere like a concert?
You get
you
a
don't
ticket.
check in. Yeah,
This is my voucher. I sit here. That's what I.
Yeah,
thought
if
was
you've
the
never
rules.
done it, and who would talk about that on social media? You got to check in for your flight. It's
Yeah.
not something that you would hear. It's just kind of something you either know or you don't know.
yeah, because when you take a train or a bus, you buy your ticket, and then boom, the ticket is sent to you, and then you just show up, hop on.
Anything else with a ticket, you do that.
Yeah. Concerts. Mm-hmm. So did you just then you showed up at the airport, and then you were did you get in line and just go to the front desk and get your ticket there?
So I had it in the email first off, and then so there's a couple different trams you take to get into the airport at Tampa International.
Yeah.
So I found a woman. I decided the best case scenario was just grab somebody who looked like they worked there or spent frequent time in the airport, and almost not chaperone chauffeur, but maybe ask them some questions they don't want to answer, but I really didn't have a choice. So I was able to get a guide into the airport. And then,
So I've heard about them doing that with young kids. Say if there's a 6-year-old who's going to be traveling alone, the parents can call ahead and they find someone at the airport.
I've done that.
That can. Oh yeah.
Unaccompanied
For your
minor,
kids?
yeah.
Okay, and they can guide your kid through the airport. I've never heard about a full-grown adult like you being guided through the airport with a chaperone.
She definitely did look at me like a man child and a little confused, like, why is this guy asking me these questions? But it's like first time experience. I mean, there wasn't there was some like ready information like on YouTube and things like that. But like the base level stuff seems like no brainers, but it didn't feel like a no brainer walking into the airport.
No, I mean airports are confusing, as you say. Even if you're taking like public transit, there's like you got to take trains to trams. You got to know the right terminal, and you got to know where to check in. Did you check in at the desk, or did you eventually learn how to check in online?
I got a woman who worked at the airport showed me I needed to download an app. So there was an app situation, and then scanning my ticket through, set up a secondary account for checking in.
Okay.
I guess there's a point system reward to that too.
Yeah. And so you hadn't flown. Was the last time you had flown, was that pre 9/11? I don't even know how old you are.
It would be, I think it would be post.
Okay, it was still post. Okay.
Or maybe right around, like, it could go either way, I think.
Yeah. Did you know, like, okay, they're probably going to make me take off my shoes. They're probably going to make me take my laptop out of my bag.
So I did shoes off, laptop out, and then the first security check woman let me know that shoes had to come off, but laptop could have stayed in, I guess. And the laptop was buried, so I pretty much took out my entire backpack to get the laptop out. And she's like, "Oh, that could have stayed in."
Yeah, they're always making changes. I think that's a new development where you don't always have to take your laptop out. It's kind of just like an airport by airport.
Yeah, it depends on the machine they have.
All right.
Now, is it? I did go just my backpack because they said one carry-on item allowed. Is a backpack, is that personal item or is that carry-on?
Personal.
So then could I have gone? Can you go double backpack if you don't have a carry-on suitcase?
Yeah, you can go double backpack.
So then you can go one personal, one suitcase.
Just carry the second backpack in your hand
Gotcha,
while you're getting on there, and then you'll be fine. They probably prefer that because it takes up less room.
Yeah. I mean, if you're flying a really budget airline, sometimes it'll be like only a personal item.
How stressful was the onboarding process for you, like getting on the plane?
It went a little rough because I guess there's three different, like, priority line. There's a 1A, 1B, 1C lineup. And then I guess I had gotten into I was trying to read up the screen to see which, when I need to board the plane. I knew I was a third group, but I wasn't sure which group had already gotten there because I was a little late getting to the gate. And I caught a little bit of nerve from a gentleman in line. He thought I had cut him, and he was like, "Are you priority?" And I was like, "Oh, not at all, sir. Like, I'm just waiting to board. Is this priority right now?" And he was like, "Yeah, this is priority. You need to get in your own group." So it was a little bit of a class system there in the lines at the airport that I wasn't privy to previously.
Yeah, almost like a caste system.
He let me know quick, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm priority. You're not. Get out the way." I was like, "Yeah, it won't ever happen again. My bad, dude."
Yeah, airports are probably the one spot in America that have a very strict caste system.
It felt like it. You could feel it.
Like all the noble and royalty are usually in the airport lounges waiting for their flights, enjoying free cocktails and beer and buffets.
Sporting events, too. Like you have the people that are
yeah.
going to the suites. You got people in the 400 seats. You try to go down to the 100 seats, and they'll basically flog you.
Yeah. We can probably think of tons of examples in America that still have a caste system.
But
actually.
I think none's worse, and people don't get as mad at any as the airport because they're like, I paid for this extra spot. I'm going to get it. You're not going ahead of me.
Yeah, he thought it was me trying to get ahead situation, but it's really like, I'm just trying to figure out the lines, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to downplay your ticket opposed to mine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, he paid the big bucks to be priority.
Which is good for him. That's great. Shout out to him. I hope he had a safe flight,
You had another question about the armrest situation.
Yeah, so we're seated now in a plane row, correct? I'm in the middle. I did have a middle seat on the way home. As far as armrest dominance, I'm one here, or is the middle both?
Gotta have the mic.
Oh, my bad.
Donnie, you go ahead. What do you think?
I think it just comes down to straight who can alpha who.
I
Just
completely
dominance.
agree.
Yeah.
Like throw the body around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like who asserts themselves more, because it can turn into like a battle. But it is, if I'm like sleeping on the edge, then I'll be like, all right, I'm sleeping over here. You can take this armrest.
And a lot for me depends on how fat the middle seater is.
Okay.
Like if you're a fatso, I'll probably give it to you because you're already going through it and it's already been a long day. But if you're a skinny, I'm taking it.
Got you. They both, the woman to my left and the gentleman to my right, both took them very quickly. So I was here on the knees for most of the time. I did get one when this guy got up to go to the bathroom, and it was a time where I was like, maybe I can take back this armrest. I thought about it, didn't take it though.
I think they could
took it.
they could smell that you were a newbie.
I was
They were
bait
like,
on the
This
airplane."
guy's
Yeah,
fresh
okay.
meat. We can
That's fair.
definitely bully him.
I feel like you kind of do it like when you first start holding hands in high school, you know, where you'd be like, oh, our fingers are touching. Let me move it just a little bit over. And then the next thing you know, you have your fingers intertwined. I feel like that's how it is pushing someone off.
the arm.
Is it just like a little bit? Next thing you know, they're the ones with their hands in their lap.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. I saw a crazy stat online that said 60% of people don't recline their airplane seats because just in consideration of the people behind them. I've always been a recline guy because I'm like, listen, this is uncomfortable for all of us. If we all recline, we'll all be a little more comfortable, except for the people in the last row near the bathrooms because those seats just can't recline.
Can't go anywhere.
But I think if you want to recline, that's fine by me.
I knew the recline was an option there. I didn't want to go back just because I didn't want to inconvenience the lady behind me. I've also seen a couple clips where like people get very frustrated and start like kneeing and kicking the back of seats. And the last thing I wanted was like a verbal or physical altercation on the airplane.
That's fair.
I was trying to keep low profile, get there, go.
Yeah, because like you haven't flown in so long, but probably you've seen thousands of like airplane fight videos.
Oh,
so for
yeah.
you were probably like, this just must be commonplace.
Yeah.
There must be like a fight on every flight.
Tons of videos, a lot of antics going on in the economy. I didn't want to be a part of that. I wanted to stay out the way. I've seen many hair pulling, some window battles, like a woman behind trying to force up the window, and then everybody saying, "Hell no, get that out of here." So I didn't want any of that.
Are you a window up or down guy, Donnie?
I'm definitely like, I think you have to be a window up guy for takeoff and landing. And I love to look at the landscapes as I'm taking off and landing. But once we've reached cruising altitude, I'm fine with closing the window because it usually makes it a little bit darker and easier to sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to you taking more flights now. I assume now that like your family's in Tampa, you're living in Chicago, you'll probably
Definitely.
you have an excuse to fly more. And if you ever need any advice, me and Chaps are always here to help.
We should take them on a trip.
Yeah. We should. I mean, you mentioned you were kind of running late for your flight. How early did you show up?
I think luckily the flight got delayed, so I was able to make it. But if it didn't get delayed, I wasn't making it.
Oh, you pulled a Mincy.
It was just short notice. It was the last flight out to Chicago from Tampa for the night, and Tampa International's. You can usually get there in like 45 minutes from Lakeland, where my house is at, and but I-4 traffic is a kind of a crapshoot that time of day, so it could either be 35, 40 minutes or 2 hours. So the traffic kind of caught me, and then the delay saved me.
Yeah, you can't be leaving that up to chance. I've taken 1,000+ flights in my life. I think I've only missed one, which is pretty
strong.
damn good.
That is good.
We have people at this company that miss a flight once a quarter, I'd say.
Caleb Presley was very famous for that.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm a 1-1, I'm batting 1,000 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take that.
You're batting 1,000. Yeah, just
Small sample
show
size.
up earlier than you think. Worst that happens is you get time to just chill in the airport and you can crush some termies. Are you a beer drinker?
Maybe not at the airport, just because I wanted to stay at maximum awareness. I didn't want to be like caught off guard by anything that could have happened.
You only need awareness when you're going through security. Once you're fully through, get drunk.
I went to soft pretzel. That was good.
Yeah,
On the way
I
back.
love a soft pretzel. Yeah.
Soft pretzel was great. You do mustard or the butter or what's your you got a dipping preference?
I go mustard. If they have a good cheese and it's like a German place, I'm going cheese dip.
Okay.
But ballpark, I'm going mustard. Now and I'll tell you a little fun fact about the mustard. If you can get Coleman's mustard anywhere, you got to do it. It's mustard mixed with like horseradish.
Is that a Dijon or more of a yellow base?
More of a yellow, but just with a little bit of horseradish.
Little kick?
added. Yeah,
More
a
of a
little bit
kick.
spice,
I like that
yeah.
pro tip.
Nice. Well, thanks for coming on the plane, man.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.